Karl Rove is sometimes known as Bush's brain, and it's interesting. Some are claiming that he might have damaged his own reputation with an incredibly low blow on Hillary Clinton that he did recently. Now, did he or didn't he? Well, that's the topic today, because in reality, this might have been a genius move. Now, let me tell you what he said. When he was at a conference outside of LA, he said 30 days in the hospital, referring to Hillary Clinton. And when she reappears, she's wearing glasses that are only for people who have traumatic brain injury. We need to know what's up with that. Now, he's referring to something that happened a couple of years ago when she slipped and fell and she got a concussion. Now, if you remember at the time, the Republicans put out a conspiracy theory that she just wanted to avoid testifying on Benghazi and that she never really had any medical problem. Now they've turned it around. They have a new conspiracy theory that yes, in fact, she did have a concussion and she had a blood clot, which is true. She did have a blood clot, and that led to permanent brain damage. Hey, which one is it? Okay, out of your two sick theories. Now, I'm going to show you, unfortunately, how this is going to be successful for Karl Rove. Now, first of all, of course, Hillary Clinton's camp is forced to respond to whether she has brain damage. They say, please assure Dr. Rove she's 100%. Then they go on to say Karl Rove has deceived the country for years, but there are no words for this level of lying. Now, unfortunately, we're already knee-deep in the middle of this conversation, and he has reframed everything from Hillary Clinton's competence to Hillary Clinton's possible brain damage. So then, places like Huffington Post have to clarify the issue by going back to what her doctor said. Now, listen to this. They say Clinton's doctors, however, debunked Rove's theory long ago. Prior to her release from the hospital in January 2013, Clinton's physicians at a New York hospital said that the clot did not cause Clinton to suffer a stroke and did not result in any neurological damage. Okay, now why is this already a win for Karl Rove? Because we're saying Hillary Clinton, brain damage, a stroke, and neurological damage all in the same sentence. What he wants to do is introduce doubt into your head, where none existed before. Did you think that there was anything wrong with Hillary Clinton's brain before? Now all of a sudden we're having a conversation. Is her brain okay or is it not okay? Is she damaged or is she not damaged? He wins just by asking the question and having us all talk about it. But once he brings it up, you're forced into it. Because what are you going to do? Not talk about it and just let it stand? That lie, that unbelievably outrageous lie, just let it stand? You can't. You have to respond, and all of a sudden, this is the conversation we're having. It's gross. Now, he then comes back on Fox News and goes, what, me? I never said that. Watch.
No. Wait a minute. No. I didn't say she had brain damage. She had a serious health episode. My point was that Hillary Clinton wants to run for president, but she would not be human if this didn't enter in as a consideration. And my other point is this will be an issue in the 2016 races, whether she likes it or not. Every presidential candidate is asked for all of their health records. Look, she'll be 69. By the time of the 2016 election. She will be 77 if she serves 2 terms, and this ends up being an issue.
This is what the Post writes. Karl Rove stunned a conference when he suggested Hillary Clinton might have brain damage. Is that true or not?
Well, I never use that. I never use that phrase. I never use that phrase. But look, she had a serious episode, a serious health episode.
Did I say brain damage? Oh, golly gee, I just referred to her brain, and then now everybody's all talking about how it's brain damage. I just said brain and damage in the same sentence. I didn't say serious health episode. That's all. I'm just worried about her health. And he says, look, isn't this a legitimate issue? Well, that's going to lead us to our next discussion. By the way, if you noticed, he changed his story a couple of times because in the beginning, he was talking about how she stayed in the hospital for a whole month, which of course is not true. He's lying as usual. So now all of a sudden there was a 4-day stay, but it was within the scope of a month.
This, I think, is a strategy. He may have been trying it out on behalf of the party, on behalf of the eventual nominee. But while his comments may have been off, her health, regardless of why she was in the hospital or whether she was in the hospital, questions about a candidate's health, only legitimate, they are always part of a presidential campaign. Well, listen, voters are smart enough to cancel out anything that's either wrong or over the line. So if you overreach with questions about health, the voters actually, I think, make a correction for that. But the notion that she isn't going to have to answer questions, even in a Democratic primary, about what she went through is ludicrous. Of course she will.
Oh, you see how they easily segued right there from like, well, okay, yeah, he might have overstepped a little bit, but isn't it legitimate to talk about Hillary Clinton's health problems? What health problems? According to her doctor, she doesn't have health problems. Well, it's a legitimate conversation. Okay. And all of a sudden, the entire media, and by the way, get a load of this piece of genius. When you do step over the line and what you say is so outrageous, then all of the different TV stations have to start talking about what an outrageous thing you said and then repeat it over and over. In fact, Evan McMurray from Mediaite actually made a great point about this. Let me quote him. What are the odds that that segue was exactly Rove's plan in overreaching, referring to what Nicole Walsh said there on MSNBC? And how little does Rove care that he's going to be the butt of one news cycle while ensuring that Clinton's health will be continually introduced into the television conversation under the guise of talking about his gaffe? Bingo. That's how you do it. Now, Karl Rove is no amateur at this. He has spread many scurrilous lies throughout his career. Let me give you just some quick highlights. When he was running against, a candidate that he was representing was running against Chief Justice Hornsby in a state race, he did an ad where he implied that the Chief Justice was taking bribes. Was he? No. Was there any such charge? No. Who cares? He's Karl Rove. He just throws it out there. I don't know. I'm just asking questions. And then one of his candidates they believed was going to do poorly in a debate. The night of the debate, Karl Rove comes out and says, my office was bugged. Did the opposition actually bug his office? No. Who cares? You just distract. And you go towards a conversation you want to have about what a terrible guy your opponent is for possibly bugging your office, not about how terrible your candidate is at debating. Karl Rove 101, but we're just getting started here. In George Bush's race against Ann Richards, who was the governor of Texas, what did they insinuate? Too easy. Oh, she's a lesbian. She's a powerful woman who's the governor of Texas, must be a lesbian. Is she? No, who cares? Okay, then John Weaver at one point leaves his Karl Rove's team on a campaign that he's working on. He's a fellow Republican. As soon as Weaver leaves, what does Karl Rove put out in the press? There's rumors that he was hitting on a male at one of these cocktail events. He's gay! Look over there! Karl Rove is such a disgusting guy. All right, we're just getting warmed up. I'm saving the last two for best, okay? He's representing Harold C. This is another judicial campaign it's back in 1994. They're running against Mark Kennedy, okay? First of all, he does vicious flyers against Harold C. Wait a minute, I just told you he was representing him. Why does he do that? So that he can say, look at this Mark Kennedy. This guy, he says sitting judge, and he's sending out these terrible flyers about my candidates. What kind of a terrible person runs a negative campaign like that? Okay, but that's not even the worst of it. Mark Kennedy ran a charity for children. Karl Rove implied that Mark Kennedy was a homosexual pedophile. Of course, no evidence of that, not remotely true, but you just introduced the conversation. Is Mark Kennedy a pedophile or is he not? When he was trying to help kids. When he spent all that time setting up a charity to help kids. There's never been any proof of any of the allegations that Karl Rove has ever done. Okay, we're not even at the worst yet, although that's pretty close to the worst. John McCain. You know, Bush is running against him in 2000 in the primaries. 3 different things he puts out against John McCain. That when he was tortured by the Vietnamese, he lost his mind. Hey, well, that's funny. That's kind of what he's saying now about Hillary Clinton, right? Brain damage. Said, tortured for his country. Well, that's good and all, I guess, but he's crazy. Lost his mind. He's unfit for office. Also, he said that during the torture that McCain betrayed his country. Now, these are all, of course, what happens is, oftentimes, in the old days, you didn't say it. You put up the flyers. You did a whisper campaign. In the Mark Kennedy case, he did a whisper campaign in the campus of University of Alabama Law School. And then that spread throughout the state. Now, you just do it on the national level. You just go on Fox News or you go to a conference somewhere and you just say it, and then all of a sudden, everybody's talking about it. I guess it's gone from a whisper campaign to a shouting campaign, right? So we're not done with John McCain and what he did to him. He says because of the torture, he betrayed his country, okay? And by the way, they did robocalls right before the South Carolina primary saying, would it change your vote if you knew John McCain had an illegitimate black child? Now, in fact, he is a perfectly legitimate adopted child from South Asia. Oh, but you know, a lot of people in South Carolina, so John McCain, one of his kids looks like they're of a dark complexion. Oh, illegitimate black child. Karl Rove is below pond scum. And this guy is considered like, oh, Karl Rove, everybody put him on TV. Oh, Fox News, pay him a huge salary. Oh, these Republicans give hundreds of millions of dollars to his organization to run all those ads. They're not embarrassed of Karl Rove. They love Karl Rove. They don't give him the hundreds of millions of dollars despite the fact that he's below pond scum. They give it to him because of that. They love a hatchet man like Karl Rove. And then finally, he says at one point in response to this Hillary Clinton issue, look, I'm the bête noire of the Democrats. I'm the gift that keeps on giving to them. My name shows up in more emails of being involved in more efforts to defeat Democratic candidates than I can count. So I'm confident that anytime I make a statement, that the Democrats are going to turn it into a fire. You see that? It's not like he's unaware. He knows I make a statement and then it gets repeated all throughout the country. And the Republicans that pay me are not embarrassed of that. They pay me for that. So this is not just about Karl Rove. All of those Republican donors and all of those Republican campaigns that use Karl Rove are just as sick as he is.